Are you hungry? Well, then cook something. Not a good cook? That's okay. I'm here to show you how to work the oven and stove so that way you won't have any problem. Think you already know it all? Well, stay tuned. I might surprise you. With the time that I've been on my own, my really busy schedule and tight budget, this thing has been a lifesaver. But first I want to talk about some safety precautions because as we know, this thing can be dangerous when neglected. One thing that I want to mention is when using the stovetop, make sure that the area is clear. Keep utensils off to the side, make sure there's no flammable aerosol cans around like the Pam spray, and make sure you don't have any flammable decorations or anything hanging above the stove that might catch fire when the heat rises. Now, don't forget the oven mitts so you don't burn yourself when grabbing pans or candles. Now I'm going to go into how to actually get this thing hot. So I'm going to start with the oven. You have a basic switch for the oven which tells you when you turn it on, it'll tell you usually, oven on, and then there's another little feature that alerts you when the oven has been preheated. You want to make sure that the oven is preheated before you actually put your food in it because the time that they tell you to cook the food is the actual time that it has to be in there at full heat potential to cook your food appropriately. So this will alert you when it's preheated, and that's when you know it's time to actually put the food in the oven. Now you also have a timer that you can set to alert you when your food is done so you don't forget about it. Next I'm going to show you the different settings for the stovetop. If you look next to the knob, you'll see which knob is associated with which burner. It's got a little picture here which indicates which burner you're turning on. Then there's the different temperatures, low to high, and the instructions on the food that you're cooking should provide you with that, or if you're looking up recipes online, it should tell you what type of setting you should have your heat at. Now, another feature that I don't want to forget to show you is when cooking in the oven, there's actually a light that you can use to check on the food so you don't actually have to open up the oven. Very handy because when you open up the oven and it's not ready yet, it lets the heat out. It might mess with the cooking a little bit. Now, you're wondering, what can you actually cook in the oven? That's easy. Saves you time, effort, and money. Visit your local market and you'll find a frozen section with lots of goodies in it, which have clear directions on the type of temperature that you need to cook your food at, and how long you need to cook it at. And besides fish sticks, there are pizza rolls, there are frozen pizzas, there are lasagna dishes that are pre-made and you just have to heat. There are stovetop soups that you can make. And there are also recipes that you can look up online that are super easy about mixing some ingredients together if you want to get a little more fancy. But basically, as long as you know how to gauge the setting, turning the knob to get to the appropriate settings that you need, making sure that your oven is preheated before you actually put your food in, and then you time it the way that it is instructed, you should be just fine. But here's one important thing that you don't want to forget, and that is make sure your cats do not get on the stove when it's hot, because that'll be a whole nother problem. And you probably might get hair in your food. So one thing about making sure that you turn your burners off, this is just a tip that a lot of people might not use because they don't actually think about it, but those are the people that forget to leave their oven on, and yeah, things get burnt down. So anyway, if you don't want that to happen, you could always set a timer separately from your cooking time. If you know that your cooking time is going to take about 20 minutes, set your timer, like on your microwave or on your phone or separately, for 30 minutes. And when that timer goes off, you'll say, oh, gotta check the oven, make sure I shut it off, and just check and make sure that all burners are off before actually leaving the oven to go do what else you might have to do. So I hope that with this information, I've guided you in the right direction in starting to cook on your own and properly learning how to use the oven. I hope that this has been beneficial and has motivated you to do anything that you might need to do with this thing and you feel comfortable using it. So try it out and save yourself some time and money and start cooking on this amazing appliance that we all need to know how to work eventually. So that is all I have.